Shocking truth, her success ruined this marriage forever. But what happened next? Must see, in a world where dreams turn into grinding realities, Jenna's rise to fame felt like an electric storm, crackling with vibrant energy, drawing admirers while casting dark shadows over her marriage. As her Instagram followers soared into millions, her husband, Mark, began to feel like a ghost in their own home. He watched helplessly as his once lively wife transformed into a celebrity, an icon wrapped in glamour and success, leaving behind the mundane moments they used to cherish. The whispers of their friends turned into loud declarations of tragedy, echoing in their empty, once joyous living room, now haunted by secrets. Every morning, sunlight poured in through the windows, illuminating Jenna's glowing skin as she snapped selfies, but those same rays cast a cold light on Mark's growing resentment. The house was filled with her laughter, now tinged with an unsettling echo that said she was no longer his. It was like watching someone fold into themselves, layer by layer. It was thrilling, and terrifying. Mark's chest tightened at the thought he couldn't keep up with her anymore. He wanted to be happy for her, but each click from her camera felt like a shattering glass, slicing deeper into their once inseparable bond. Just one boisterous dinner with her newfound friends was enough to knock over the delicate frame they built together. Their laughter boomed through the walls, yet Mark felt miles away, trapped in a glass box, looking in at the life he once knew. Subtle tensions escalated. The small things he used to love about Jenna, the way she'd crinkle her nose when excited, her fierce determination when talking about the little guy, now seemed like distant memories. Instead, he found himself haunted by a man's primal instincts of loss and desperation. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Mark felt the ground beneath him shift as he noticed troubling patterns lurking in the shadows: late-night calls, unexplained texts, a lingering scent of perfume that was hers. Everything screamed that something was wrong. Was it just paranoia, or was he losing her to the whirlwind of fame? The night everything changed, Jenna returned home late, her eyes sparkling with excitement, only for Mark to spot a small, hidden mark on her forearm. A love bite, perhaps? Suddenly, all their years of laughter felt like a distant dream, fading. As he gazed into her eyes, the deep sorrow and anger that swirled like a storm inside him was almost visible. They both sat in silence, and then came a question that would turn their world upside down. Mark, would you ever support me if I took a risk? Something that could change everything? The air crackled, thick with potential disaster, waiting for Mark to respond, and his heart raced. What could she possibly mean? What came next would either break them or ignite a fire they could never put out. Mark's heart pounded like a drum in the thickening silence of the room. He could see the anticipation in Jenna's eyes, sparkling with a blend of hope and mischief. This was more than just a question, it was an invitation to a precipice he wasn't sure he wanted to approach. What kind of risk, Jenna? He finally managed to ask, each word weighted with caution. The sense of dread that loomed over him seemed to stretch time, each second dragging out in exasperating detail. She leaned closer, her voice barely above a whisper. I want to take my career to the next level, a reality show, Mark. It'll be huge. But it's a gamble. It'll involve more open relationships, more of everything. The words hung between them, heady and intoxicating, but also laced with trepidation. Reality TV? The thought hit Mark like icy water. Was this her idea of success? Fame had already transformed her, what more could it take? He searched her face for a trace of the woman he married, the one who cherished their quiet weekends. But all he found was a fierce ambition burning brightly, almost blinding. And what if it changes everything? What if you lose yourself? Mark's voice cracked, and a lump formed in his throat. The idea of Jenna exposing their lives to the world, letting strangers weigh in on their relationship, made bile rise in his stomach. I'm already losing myself, Mark. Look where we are. Jenna shot back, her frustration palpable. Her hands waved as if trying to physically grasp his understanding. This is my chance. I need your support. I thought you'd understand. Her words felt like daggers piercing into his chest. The spirit of their laughs, their dreams, had already shifted. Could they thrive under this new spotlight, or would it be the final nail in the coffin? Doubt clouded his judgment as he faced the frightening thought, what if this risk excited her more than their marriage? No. I can't, he exclaimed, the desperation in his voice igniting an argument that seemed insurmountable. I won't watch you throw away everything we built. Suddenly, the doorbell rang, echoing like a warning bell through the heated atmosphere. Mark's heart skipped. Who could that be at this hour? Jenna's eyes flickered towards the door with a mix of dread and excitement. Please, Mark, let us just talk about this. But Mark was already moving towards the door, his pulse racing. Could it be someone from her world? A producer? An influencer? The unknown gripped him as he swung open the door, and the chilling sight before him stole the breath from his lungs. Standing there was a tall figure, silhouetted against the streetlights, a knowing smirk plastered across his face. Mark instinctively took a step back. Miss me, Jenna? The voice was smooth but edged with malice, sending an icy shiver down Mark's spine. This was not just a visitor. It was a ghost from a past he had never wanted to revisit, a face that held the keys to the darker side of Jenna's world. As Mark struggled to process who stood before him, Jenna's expression shifted dramatically, surprise giving way to something more complex. Was it fear mingling with excitement? What is he doing here? He demanded, his voice rising. The air grew heavy, filled with unspoken truths on the edge of rupture. Their worlds already unstable were about to collide in a way Mark never anticipated. Mark, I can explain. Jenna started, her eyes darting between Mark and the man. But could anything she said prepare them for the storm on the horizon? With betrayal and questions bubbling to the surface, Mark felt the fragile lines of loyalty starting to fray. Nothing could prepare him for the revelation just waiting to be unleashed. The truth was about to rear its head, and everything could change in an instant. Mark felt the air crackle with tension as he stared at the man on the doorstep, memories flooding back like a tide threatening to pull him under. He struggled to catch his breath. Jenna's past she kept buried was standing right in front of him. Who is he, Jenna? Mark's voice was steady, but inside he was a storm. You need to tell me the truth now. Jenna stepped forward, hands raised as if to ward off an unseen threat. Mark, please. This isn't what you think. I can handle this. Handle what? Mark shot back, his disbelief boiling over. This guy shows up, and you think I'm just supposed to accept it? Who is he? Caleb. The man said smoothly, his voice dripping with false charm. Your wife and I go way back. But don't worry, it's all in the past. He leaned casually against the doorframe, an air of confidence that made Mark sick to his stomach. Past? You call that a past? Mark spat. You were part of her life when she was trying to make it big. And now you show up right when she's ready to throw everything away. Jenna's face paled, reality crashing around them. I didn't think he'd come here, Mark. I swear. My agent said he was out of the picture. Clearly they were wrong. Mark hissed, turning his ire back to Caleb. What do you want from her? Caleb smirked, strolling into their home without invitation. The nerve. I just want to remind Jenna of what she is capable of. The industry can be brutal, and I'm here to help her navigate it. The chill of Caleb's words settled over Mark like a black cloud. Help. More like a trap, and he felt the walls closing in. By what? Pulling her back into your twisted games? Games? Caleb raised an eyebrow, his face morphing into a mask of mock innocence. Don't you see, Mark? This is all on the table. This reality show. It could catapult her to superstardom. We both know she has what it takes. Mark's heart sank. He could feel the weight of Jenna's ambition pressing down like a physical force. Was Caleb laying down the groundwork, manipulating her dreams right before his eyes? Jenna stepped closer to Mark, her voice desperate. Mark, listen. I thought I wanted this, but if that means no. He interrupted, shaking his head sharply. No more lies, Jenna. What did he mean by games? You can't keep this a secret. Not now. The moment hung between them, heavy and raw. Jenna glanced nervously at Caleb, as if searching for support that wasn't there. Mark's patience, like a fraying rope, was about to snap. Tell me. He urged her, gripping her arms tightly, fear lacing his words. Is there something else I don't know? Are you going to sacrifice us for this? Tears formed in Jenna's eyes, and she opened her mouth to speak. But before any words could escape, Caleb interrupted. Look, relationships get complicated in this industry. You either roll with it or get steamrolled. Jenna needs to be ready. That felt like a dagger to Mark's chest. Steamrolled. Was she already on the brink of losing everything, and he was standing there, powerless to stop it? Mark, I'm here to take control of my life, Jenna said firmly, her tone shifting as she faced him. That means I must confront this head-on. Caleb is part of that world. Without him, I might fail. Anger and despair twisted like a knife inside him. Everything was so close to unraveling. Could she really be choosing this path over their life together? Mark felt the weight of the decision in his gut. Was it time for a confrontation that could end them both? Is this who you want to be? He asked, quieter now, the tremor of emotion creeping into his voice. Jenna's gaze flickered back to Caleb, who wore that infuriating, assured smile. I want to be someone big, Mark. And I thought you would support me. Isn't this what we wanted? No. Mark exclaimed, his heart racing. This isn't what we wanted. Not like this. But in that moment, Caleb leaned closer to Jenna, his expression shifting to one of unrestrained ambition. You know you can't let him hold you back, Jenna. You don't owe him anything. The realization hit Mark hard. The stakes were higher than he imagined, and Jenna was standing on the edge, tempted to leap. Would she take the plunge into this dangerous world of fame and betrayal, or could he pull her back before it was too late? With raw emotion rippling between them, the door swung wider. Whatever was going to happen next might define who they would become. Jenna, Mark breathed, please don't go. But already, her eyes flickered with uncertainty. Would she choose love, or the haunting echoes of ambition that filled her with false promises? Time was slipping through his fingers, and the ground under their feet was about to give way. The choice loomed like a shadow. What would happen when the lights turned on? Mark's breath hitched as he held Jenna's gaze, pleading silently for a sign that she still cared more about their future together than the glitzy dreams Caleb dangled like bait. Every moment felt like an eternity, the air thick with unspoken words and heartbreak. Jenna, he murmured, desperation creeping into his voice, you don't need him. We can face this together. He saw a flicker of doubt in her eyes, and his heart leapt. Maybe, just maybe, she was starting to see the truth. Caleb stepped forward, cutting through the tension with a practiced laugh. Together? That's cute, Mark. But trust me, in this world, you either adapt or get left behind. Jenna deserves to shine, and she can't do that if she's tied to a life of mediocrity. Mark's fists clenched. Mediocrity? He had supported Jenna's dreams, sacrificed for her. But was it enough against the intoxicating allure of fame that Caleb represented? Is that what you really want, Jenna? Mark implored, his voice rising. To be just another puppet on a game show? You're so much more than that. Stop telling her who she is. Caleb snapped, glaring like a predator cornering prey. But you wouldn't understand, would you? You're just weighing her down. The words landed hard, as if Caleb's confidence were a physical blow. Mark felt the heat of humiliation pricking at his skin. Jenna's silence fueled a fire within him. I'm not weighing her down. He shot back, the frustration boiling over. If anything, you're just using her for your own gain. Gain? Caleb rolled his eyes. I'm here to help her find her path. It's not about me. Mark knew that was a lie, and deep down, Jenna must feel it too. Yet, he couldn't shake the feeling that the subtle tug-of-war was pushing her closer to Caleb. Jenna, he said, softening his tone, follow your heart, not this man's ambitions. You were happy before all this. Happy? She echoed, eyes wide, almost incredulous. I felt lost. I wanted more for us, for myself. This is my chance. Your chance or his? Mark shot back, unable to mask the hurt in his voice. The truth sat between them, raw and undeniable. He opened his mouth to protest again, but Jenna stepped back, hands lifted in surrender. Enough! She shouted, her voice cracking. I need time to think. Caleb seized the moment, stepping closer to her, the charming facade melting into something more sinister. Time to think about what you really want, Jenna. He cast a disdainful glance at Mark, as if dismissing him entirely. Let's discuss your options over dinner. Just the two of us. Mark felt his stomach coil. The way Caleb spoke, it was a threat disguised as an invitation, draping an insidious choice over Jenna's head. Would she accept? Jenna! Mark cried. Don't go. Don't do this. She hesitated, her expression a chaotic mix of ambition and loyalty. For a moment, it seemed she might choose him. But then she looked at Caleb, a part of her clearly enthralled by his charisma. I'll think about it. Think about it? Mark felt the words slice through him like a knife. You know what that means, right? It means he wins. Caleb chuckled softly, a predatory sound that echoed in the room. Let her make her own choices, Mark. You might just be surprised at the impact they have on both your lives. As Jenna turned away, her steps heavy with uncertainty, Mark felt the world drop away. He was losing her, slipping through his fingers like sand. Jenna! He called out, voice hoarse with panic. What if you choose wrong? The door clicked shut behind her. The silence that followed was suffocating. In that empty space lingered each unasked question, was this just the beginning of a new chapter for Jenna, or was it the last goodbye? The weight of consequences hung heavily in the air. Would she look back, or was this her moment to dive into the dark, glittery abyss of what could be? In the escalating darkness, Mark was left standing alone, the echoes of their love fading into shadow. And he knew one thing, before this night was through, he had to confront more than just Caleb. He had to confront the truth about himself. What choices would Jenna make under the blinding lights of fame? And how far would Mark go to bring her back? The clock on the wall ticked away as Mark stood in the emptiness of the room, the weight of Jenna's absence pressing on his chest. Each tick echoed like a reminder of every moment they had shared, trapping him in memories that felt painful and haunting. His phone vibrated in his pocket, cutting through the silence. With trembling fingers, he pulled it out. A text from Jenna flashed on the screen. His heart raced as he read the words, I'm with Caleb. I need to clear my head. It was like a punch in the gut. Clear her head? He felt anger rise, raw and jagged. How could she think being with him was the answer? Part of him felt betrayed, but another part clung to hope. Maybe she was still wrestling with her choice, still fighting against what Caleb offered versus the life they had built together. With an overwhelming urge to fight back, he grabbed his keys and stormed out of the apartment. He couldn't let Jenna slip away without a fight, without making her see the truth. The air was chilled as he stepped outside, but the rush of determination burned hot within him. He knew Caleb's world wasn't a safe one, that the drive to the upscale restaurant where they were supposed to meet was a blur. Mark's heart pounded, each beat drowning out the sound of the engine. As he arrived, the sight of their cozy corner table, marked with flickering candlelight, felt like a betrayal of all that he cherished. He wouldn't let them have this moment. Inside, the atmosphere was alive with laughter, clinking glasses, and the soft tones of a jazz band playing in the corner. But all of it seemed insufferable to him. Mark scanned the room, anxiety bubbling at the base of his throat. There they were, Jenna and Caleb, seated at an intimate table, shadows dancing across their faces. Caleb leaned in, his charm palpable, while Jenna appeared torn between interest and uncertainty. Mark's heart raced as he gripped the doorframe. The scene felt as if it were playing out in slow motion, each detail sharpening. The way Caleb's hand brushed against Jenna's shoulder, the way Jenna smiled, albeit hesitantly. He took a deep breath, forcing himself to move forward. He had been quiet long enough. As he approached, the contrast of their expressions was striking. Caleb looked smug, like a cat with a canary, while Jenna's expression wavered between excitement and guilt. "Jenna," he said, surprising even himself with the steadiness in his voice. "We need to talk." Her eyes widened, a flicker of surprise mingling with anxiety. Caleb straightened, the playful air around him evaporating. "What's this, Mark? Can't you see we're busy?" "Busy making a mistake," Mark replied, his gaze never leaving Jenna's. "Jenna, this isn't you." He's not the answer. The tension in the air shifted, thickening as Jenna's eyes darted between the two men. I'm fine." She protested weakly, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. "Fine." Mark shot back, frustration etching his features. "You think running towards the glitz will make you happy? You don't even know who you are right now." Caleb scoffed. "You come here brandishing accusations instead of understanding. That's your problem, Mark." Yet Mark couldn't be derailed. "What happens if you find out he's just using you, Jenna? There's danger in this world he's pulling you into. You deserve more." Those words hung heavy in the air. Time stopped as Jenna's gaze broke away from Caleb, searching deep within herself. The silence buzzed with the electricity of possibility. Then, Caleb's voice cut through like ice. "Let her choose, Mark. Let her shine under my light or remain buried in your shadows." "Shadows?" Mark echoed incredulously. "These shadows are what you'll run from when the lights go out." Jenna looked torn, caught in the crossfire of their battle. She breathed heavily, a look of conflict etched across her face. Could she break free from the allure of fame that Caleb represented? The sound of a chair scraping across the floor shattered the fragile moment. Jenna stood abruptly, her chair tumbling back. I need space." She turned, her coat swirling around her as she rushed toward the exit. Heart pounding, Mark took a single, desperate step after her, but Caleb's hand shot out, gripping his arm. "Let her go," he hissed. "You're not worth the fight." Mark shook him off, panic surging through him. "No. I can't let her walk away. I need to know what she chooses and that choice." But Caleb's mocking laughter echoed behind him, sending a chill down Mark's spine. He bolted outside, hoping to catch Jenna before she vanished into the night. As the door swung shut, he felt a pivotal moment quake beneath them, a silent war raging within her. Would she lean toward Caleb's false lights or return to the warmth of a love that truly understood her? "Jenna!" He called into the darkness, desperation lacing his voice. "Please. Don't walk away from everything we are." As he searched the streets, drifting into shadows, he was met with the chilling realization of what losing her meant. What if she didn't choose him? What if Caleb's grip was too strong? As footsteps echoed through the night, one question reverberated in Mark's mind: could he win back her heart before it was too late? The biting wind whipped around Mark as he dashed through the streets, desperation fueling his every step. Where could she have gone? He muttered to himself, scanning each corner and alleyway, each shadow that flickered in the dim lights, hoping it would reveal her figure. The city seemed to blur into a cacophony of swirling faces, each one a blurred reminder of the life he had briefly shared with Jenna. A life now fractured, teetering on the edge, and he was terrified that he might never piece it back together. His mind raced with thoughts of what Caleb might say to her to lure her further into this world of false glamour. A knot twisted in his gut, tightening with each moment. He pictured Caleb's smirk, that manipulative charm that worked so effortlessly. Yet what lay beneath that surface? Mark's own heart ached with the memories of laughter shared in dimly lit restaurants, the soft glow of honest moments now shadowed by fear and uncertainty. As he turned into a narrow street, a familiar figure caught his eye, a silhouette against the flickering lights of a local cafe. His pulse quickened as he approached, half expecting it to be Jenna, but was met instead with the sight of Caleb leaned casually against the wall, a smug expression plastered across his face. Mark's breath hitched in disbelief. "What are you doing here?" Caleb's grin widened, almost mocking. "Just enjoying the scenery." "You didn't think Jenna would run in the other direction, did you?" "You're losing her, Mark." With adrenaline pumping through his veins, Mark clenched his fists. "What did you say to her?" "You're playing a dangerous game, Caleb. She deserves better than this." Caleb laughed, the sound grating against Mark's nerves. "Better? I'm offering her a taste of life that you couldn't. Fame, fortune, power. She's drawn to it, you know." Mark felt the world tilt, wondering if it was true. Was that all she wanted? He could lose her forever if he didn't act now. "You won't win her over like this. You think she'll be happy in your world?" Caleb pushed off from the wall, stepping forward with a predatory gaze. "I think you underestimate her. You're just another chapter in her story, Mark, a sad little tale she'll put behind her." With a surge of anger, Mark stepped into Caleb's space, matching the intensity in his eyes. "And what happens when she wakes up from your fantasy? You think you can just discard her when the novel gets boring?" A shadow passed across Caleb's face. He leaned closer, whispering, "Watch your back, Mark. This game is bigger than you think." Before Mark could respond, Caleb turned and sauntered away, leaving a bitter sting of uncertainty in the air. Mark clenched his jaw, anxiety nudging at him as the reality of the situation sank deeper. He needed to find Jenna if only to make her realize the truth before it was too late. With renewed urgency, he hurried back to the restaurant, hoping she might return. But inside, the once lively atmosphere felt suffocating. He scanned the crowd, and for a moment, his heart sank. She wasn't there. As he stepped back outside, battling his growing despair, he suddenly noticed something on the ground, a silver bracelet glinting under the streetlights. He recognized it at once, Jenna's. The sight of it sent a jolt through him. She had been here, too close for comfort. Grabbing the bracelet, he felt a rush of determination surge back. "Jenna!" he shouted into the night. "I will find you." But a shiver slithered down his spine as he sensed eyes on him. Turning, he locked eyes with a stranger, a hooded figure watching from a distance, expression hidden in the shadows. The tension simmered, and Mark felt a chill grip his heart. Somehow, he understood that this was a darker layer of the game he was unwittingly entangled in. The unknown stranger turned and walked the other way, fading into the darkness. It struck Mark, what if there were others involved? What if Caleb wasn't acting alone? Panic mingled with a fierce resolve as he took off in the direction the figure had gone, unaware of how far this entanglement was leading him and how dire the consequences might be if he didn't reach Jenna in time. Could he untangle Jenna from the grips of Caleb and whatever shadows loomed around them before it became too late? As he sprinted deeper into the city, with questions clawing at his mind, he knew one thing for sure: this was just the beginning of a labyrinthine nightmare. The darkness of the night swallowed Mark as he chased after the hooded figure. His mind raced with possibilities, his heart pounding like a war drum. What had he stumbled into? This wasn't just a fight for Jenna's love anymore, it felt like a battle for her very soul that he sprinted through the maze of narrow streets, his breaths coming in quick, sharp bursts. The figure was quick, moving through the shadows like a wraith. Mark pushed harder, determined not to lose sight of whoever it was. The city felt alive and sinister, the buildings looming like silent judges, their windows glinting with the secrets they held. Just as he thought he might catch up, the figure turned a corner and slipped into an alleyway. Mark followed, his heart racing with the hope that this stranger would lead him to Jenna. However, as he rounded the corner, the alley was empty, with only the faint echo of footsteps fading into silence. Standing there, panting, he felt exposed, vulnerability pinching at him like a cold breeze. Then, the dim streetlight flickered above him, casting eerie shadows against the brick walls, mocking his search. What was he missing? And then he saw it. A piece of fabric snagged on a nail, fluttering in the wind. Jenna's scarf. His gut twisted at the sight, the fabric stained slightly, almost as if it had brushed against something darker than just the city grime. Desperation fueled him again. She was so close, he could almost feel her near. He grabbed the scarf, holding it tightly, replaying moments in his mind. The late-night talks, the smiles, the plans they had made together. Would any of it last? Caleb was right, the world of glitz and glamour was seductive, but Jenna was different. She craved authenticity, didn't she? But why, then, did that nagging doubt linger? Just then, a noise pierced the stillness. A rattling sound reverberated through the alley, sending his heart into overdrive. He turned, glancing at the shadowy end, and saw the stranger again, backlit by a distant street lamp. This time, he called out, "Hey! Who are you?" The figure stopped, but their face remained hidden. "You shouldn't be here," a voice warned, low and gravelly. It sent chills racing down his spine. "Why? What do you know about Jenna?" Mark demanded, stepping closer. The figure shifted, hesitating before speaking again. "She's tangled in something much bigger than you realize. If she finds out the truth." A deep uncertainty gripped him. What truth? Was Jenna in more danger than he had thought? "Tell me," Mark urged, his voice rising. "I can help her." "Where is she?" Instead of answering, the figure drew back, disappearing into the shadows once more. Panic set in. He couldn't afford to lose her again. He chased after again, but they seemed to blend into the darkness as if they were never there at all. Frustration clawed at him. He turned quickly, feeling a presence close by. "You can't run forever. Stop hiding." But the only reply was silence, wrapping around him like a suffocating blanket. Turning the corner again, he found himself at a crossroads, the night air heavy with uncertainty. "Mark!" A voice called from the back of the alley, soft but urgent. It was Jenna. The voice lit a spark of hope in his chest. "Help! I'm..." Before she could finish, a high-pitched scream pierced the night, cutting through the air like a knife. Mark's stomach dropped. What the hell is happening? He thought, as dread crept in. He raced toward the sound, heart racing, each step echoing the frantic pace of his thoughts. He had to find her. But would he uncover the truths behind Caleb's games, or would he find something more sinister lurking in the shadows? As he reached the end of the alley, ready to leap into action, he froze. The sight before him was far from expected, and the reality of it chilled him to the bone. The darkness promised horror, and horror was exactly what was waiting. Mark's heart pounded as he prepared to step closer. But would the truth help him save Jenna, or would it shatter what was left of their world? The alley opened into a small, dimly lit courtyard. Graffiti blanketed the walls as though the city itself had taken a breath and exhaled its secrets. Mark stood frozen, heart racing like a trapped animal. In the center of the courtyard lay Jenna, her form sprawled against the cobblestones, eyes wide in terror. But it wasn't just Jenna he saw. Looming over her was Caleb, his presence a storm cloud of menace. "Jenna!" Mark cried out, his voice strained. He didn't recognize the anger that simmered within him, fueling his every instinct to protect her. He moved forward, but Caleb's head snapped up, a sneer marred by shadows illuminating his cruel smile under flickering lights. "Mark," Caleb hissed, dripping with condescension. "You shouldn't have come. You're too late. She's already made her choice." Mark felt the words like a punch to the gut. "What have you done to her?" His voice shook despite his efforts to sound confident. Caleb shrugged, a feigned nonchalance beneath the lethal undertone. "Nothing she didn't want. All I did was show her what power looks like. Something you can't offer." Mark's blood ran cold. "You're lying." Jenna would never choose this. His breath caught, the air thick with accusations that lingered like poison. "Oh, but she has." Caleb crouched beside Jenna, his fingers brushing against her cheek as if trying to claim her. "She's tired of the simple life, Mark. Tired of being an afterthought in your story." "No!" Mark shouted, his heart pounding louder than ever. He jumped forward, ready to confront Caleb, but Jenna's eyes, wide with fear yet glistening with determination, met his. "Mark, please don't." Her voice was a fragile whisper, but it cut through the noise of his anger like glass. "I'm scared." She flinched at the sound of Caleb's laughter, which sent shivers down Mark's spine. "See?" Caleb taunted, looking back at Mark. "She knows who truly holds the reins." Mark's instincts screamed at him to reach out to her, to make her understand, but doubt crept in. Had he lost her already? "Jenna, listen to me," he pleaded. "This isn't you. Caleb's twisting everything. You don't want this dark path." The flickering lights overhead cast ghostly shadows on her face. In that fleeting moment, Mark saw a glimpse of the girl he loved, the dreamer who whispered hopes for a brighter future. But now, there was a flicker of something else: fear. Desire. Caleb laughed again, more menacing this time, pulling Jenna closer. "You don't get it, Mark. Sometimes the truth isn't what you expected. What if living authentically means embracing the chaos? How can that be authentic?" Mark countered, desperation sparking in his chest. "You're just using her." Jenna's gaze shifted, a flicker of conflict passing through her expression. I need to know." Those words hit Mark like a slap. She was torn. Caleb was right. The power of the unknown was alluring, promising a thrill Mark couldn't compete with. Mark reached toward her, feeling the weight of his own helplessness, for he knew she had to choose her own path, but could he stand by and watch her walk into damnation? In that dreadful moment, a chilling wind swept through the courtyard, ruffling their hair and erasing the warmth of hope. Mark glanced at Jenna once more. He realized his next move could define everything. "Jenna, if you walk away now, we can find a way back. I'll fight for you. I swear it." His voice cracked, a desperate plea drowning in uncertainty. Then, the unexpected happened. Caleb's smile faltered. The fear in Jenna's eyes clashed against her longing for something bold and wild. "Make your choice, Jenna," Caleb purred, his grip tightening. "But remember, there's no turning back." Mark held his breath, the air thick with tension, as the moment hung suspended, both terrifying and electrifying. The echoes of a decision loomed heavy in the silence. Would she stay tethered to him or let go, flying into Caleb's promise of power? And just as Jenna opened her mouth to speak, the distant sirens shattered the stillness, drawing closer, the harbinger of a storm that could change everything. Time was running out. What would happen if she chose wrong? The sirens wailed like banshees, slicing through the thick tension, suffocating the courtyard. Mark's heart raced even faster, each beat echoing the fear that Jenna's choice could ruin everything. He could see her mind scrambling, fighting against the pull of Caleb's dark promise. Caleb's grip on Jenna tightened, and he leaned in closer, his breath hot against her ear. "You want to be powerful, don't you? You want to leave the ordinary behind? Then make your choice. His voice dripped with seduction, a charm wrapped in danger. Mark clenched his fists, willing Jenna to see reason. Jenna. Think about what this really means. This isn't power, it's a trap. Her eyes darted between them, a silent tug-of-war playing out on her face. The sirens grew louder, their urgency a stark contrast to the chilling suspense encircling them. Mark could feel the sweat trickling down his spine, the weight of inevitability pressing down, like a predator closing in on its prey. Jenna's voice quivered, a fragile thread barely holding her words together. But before she could finish, Caleb cut her off, his tone mocking. You see, Jenna. He is scared of what you could become. Don't let him hold you back. Embrace it. Power is within your reach. A flicker flicked through Jenna's gaze, a mixture of anger and confusion. But who are you, Caleb? What do you really want from me? Mark gasped, the small glimmer of hope igniting his desperation. Yes. Ask him, Jenna. What happens if you choose him? What's the price? Caleb's smile widened, and for a moment, the flickering lights illuminated something dark in his eyes. You really want to know? He chuckled darkly, reveling in the moment as if toying with them. Power comes at a cost, Jenna, one that you may not be ready to pay. Mark felt a chill run down his spine. His instincts screamed that Caleb was hiding something, a truth too sinister to contemplate. Don't listen to him. He is trying to manipulate you. Jenna hesitated, confusion swirling in her blue eyes. You're both scaring me. The sirens reached a deafening crescendo, drowning out Caleb's smirking taunts. The air crackled with energy, and out of the shadows, figures emerged, a small swarm of police officers. Flashing blue and red lights illuminated the courtyard, casting long, eerie shadows. What the hell? Caleb's eyes narrowed as his facade cracked. The grip on Jenna loosened for just a moment. You've got to be kidding me, Jenna. Now. Mark shouted, seizing the opportunity. We can make a run for it. Please. Her eyes darted back to Mark, and a flicker of resolve ignited. Just as she started to move toward him, Caleb snarled, regaining his composure. Don't you get it? This is a power play. With every choice comes a consequence. If you run now, you'll never know what you could have been. The police officers shouted instructions, their voices cracking through the panic. Step away from the girl. Hands where we can see them. Caleb's expression twisted into a mask of fury. His plans unraveled before his eyes. In that instant, Mark saw terror and defiance competing in Jenna's expression. Before she could process her thoughts any further, the surprise in her eyes hardened. She took a step toward Mark, but Caleb lunged, blocking her path. Jenna! You don't understand. The madness dripped from his voice. They will take everything from you. Something clicked inside her. In that moment of vulnerability, Jenna mustered every ounce of courage. Get away from me! She screamed, shoving past Caleb, her heart pounding with defiance. Mark's chest swelled with hope. Yes, Jenna. Come on. But as she reached for him, a dark shadow moved quickly behind. A flash, a glint of metal in Caleb's hand was all Mark saw before everything turned chaotic. No! He shouted, lunging forward, heart racing as if time was folding in on itself. The distance between them felt like miles, every second stretching to an eternity as he sprinted toward her. Jenna's eyes widened, reflecting the flash of danger. In that horrifying moment, choices collided, and the air crackled with a certainty no one wanted to confront. Would their love be enough to withstand the storm? Or was darkness ready to claim its prey? The sirens wailed, but in that split second, the true chaos began. With everything hanging in balance, the conclusion teetered on the edge. Would they emerge unscathed, or was it already too late? The courtyard erupted into bedlam. Sirens wailed through the still night like a haunting chorus, shattering the tension that bound the three of them together. Mark surged forward, desperation fueling his every thought as Caleb's threatening form loomed over Jenna. "Get away from her!" Mark roared. His chest tightened with anxiety. Time slowed as he watched Jenna's face twist in fear but also in resolve. Just as she took a step toward him, Caleb lunged, but Mark was quicker. Adrenaline coursed through his veins as he raced toward them, thoughts racing. "Jenna! Stay back!" Caleb yelled, anger flashing through his eyes, but Mark was done cowering. He had spent too long playing the understanding husband, and now it was time for action. In a blur of motion, Mark pushed Caleb aside, breathing hard as he grabbed Jenna's arm. "Let us go. Now." Her eyes searched his, a storm of emotions swirling beneath the surface: fear, trust, uncertainty, but in that crucial moment, he saw the faintest flicker of determination. He pulled her closer, urging her to stand by him. Caleb sneered, regaining balance. "You think you won, don't you?" His voice dripped with menace, but those words struck a nervous chord within Mark. It wasn't over yet, and they both knew it. "Jenna, please." Mark breathed, his grip tightening as he felt the world around them constricting. The officers were moving fast, their shouts relentless. Mark's heart raced, hammering against the walls of his chest as he felt the impending chaos spiral from every direction. "Step away now," a uniformed officer called, aiming a flashlight toward Caleb. He didn't seem worried, though, that crazy glint never leaving his eyes. "Mark!" Jenna cried, pulling his focus back, voice quivering as sirens screamed. "I'm scared. What if they arrest him? What if it all falls apart? Then we face it together. I want to let him take you away from me." Mark shot her a look filled with conviction. He could feel the tears welling in her eyes, but in this moment of vulnerability, Caleb chose to strike. "You think this is just about power or stardom? This is about survival, baby." He took a threatening step forward. "Stay back." One officer warned again, raising his weapon as the chaos escalated. Mark's heart sank, the atmosphere prickled with palpable danger. He couldn't let Caleb win. "You're only strong when you surround yourself with fear," Mark shot back, his voice steady now. Suddenly, Caleb's expression morphed, frustration mingling with a hint of desperation. "I'm just trying to protect her from people like you. She could be incredible." Jenna's eyes hardened with defiance. "I want to be me, Caleb. Not your puppet." Mark's heartbeat quickened. Hope surged as Jenna stepped closer to him. In that moment, something shifted in her. Maybe she hadn't lost herself after all. Maybe the lure of fame was nothing compared to the love that had once filled their home. Caleb was stunned, shaken. "You just don't get it. Power lies in embracing the darkness." "Your darkness isn't power," Jenna said softly, lips trembling but fierce. "It's a trap. I'll never find myself in your world of lies." Mark's heart soared at her words. She stood, not as a woman torn between two paths, but as someone reclaiming her narrative. "Let us go. Now." Mark urged again, holding out his hand. The sirens screamed louder, surrounding them, but everything felt different, as if time had collapsed into this very moment. Jenna took a breath, glancing back at Caleb, her eyes hardening as they found Mark's. She took his hand. Without looking back, they turned and bolted toward the police, who were now focusing on Caleb. "Stop right there!" shouted the lead officer, stepping forward as they approached. Mark felt the rush of relief flood over him as they reached out to the officers, guilt chased away by the certainty that they had made the right choice. Nothing mattered more than Jenna, than their love overcoming darkness. But before the officer could draw closer, Caleb stepped back, his face twisting with rage. "You win. This game isn't over." "No, Caleb, it ends here." Mark shouted. "You're not just a ghost from the past, you're a warning for what she could have lost." With that, police swiftly moved in, apprehending Caleb while he screamed, fury radiating from him like a wildfire. Breathless and shaking, Mark turned to Jenna, their hands still linked tightly. The air felt still, the world sparking back to life, and he could finally breathe. In her eyes, he saw fear, but there was also hope. "Are you okay?" he whispered, running his thumb across her knuckles. She nodded, tears glimmering on her cheeks. I was so lost and I was scared too," he admitted, voice trembling. "But you're back now, and we'll figure this out together." Overhead, sirens dimmed, their howling fading into the night. The weight of their decisions hung in the air, but for the first time, it felt bearable. Standing there, hand in hand, they understood the journey ahead wouldn't be easy. "We'll rebuild," Jenna whispered, glancing back at the chaos. "No more chasing shadows. Just us." Mark smiled brightly, a warmth spreading through his chest. Together. They turned away then, facing the darkened street ahead, where a glimmer of dawn broke through the horizon. Hope stretched before them. No more games, no more illusions, just the raw reality of love unshackled from darkness. The final chapter of their story was just beginning. You need to subscribe immediately so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Slide it into their DMs, and let us spread the love. This is the moment to show your support.